You are now listening to the Bullseye Podcast, brought to you by AFI Advisors. Sit back, get comfy, and keep all arms and legs inside the vehicle when in motion. And now, here is Josh, Peter, and Brian.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bullseye Podcast, brought to you by AFI Advisors. I am Josh Shores. I'm here with Peter Raber and Brian Brummett. SpaceX IPO just went public. We're going to talk about opportunity or hype with that. I know that we've had a lot of people call in. We've had a lot of emails. Now that SpaceX has gone public, it's the world's largest IPO, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. To date. The headlines are everywhere. It's been a little volatile already. Investors are excited. But today, I want to focus on just these three questions. One being, why is everyone so excited about SpaceX? Two, is the company worth what investors are paying for it? That's a big one. Three, what should everyday investors learn from this situation? So in that spirit, jumping into it, why is everyone so excited about SpaceX?
I think it's because it's taken this concept of science fiction and made it reality. You know, it's one of those things, it's rockets, it's global space infrastructure, it's all these things that we've only seen in Star Wars and Star Trek. It's like the first thing that you can actually tangibly say is a real business.
They actually reference Star Trek in the IPO speech. So, I mean, it's very futuristic.
I've had to educate myself on this. So SpaceX, X for exploration.
Elon Musk loves the letter X.
Yeah. Clearly.
Yeah.
The way I understand it, it's just about all things exploring space.
Exploring space.
Connectivity.
Yes.
Yep. Artificial intelligence to a point. I mean, it's got a bunch of different futuristic things. I think the space name itself is what's drawn some attention.
It also has the former Twitter, which is X, inside this company. So that's there too. But I do think the X kind of gives off the impression of exploration.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we're looking at SpaceX as an IPO, what makes it different from the other IPOs?
Size.
Absolutely.
And so when we go back and we look at other large tech IPOs, they were not, Facebook didn't come out at $1 trillion valuation. It wasn't one of these things. Google didn't come out at $1 trillion valuation. So there's so much hype that is going along with this. It's making Elon Musk the first trillionaire. And so I think it's different just in its pure size. And in other IPOs, we've not valued companies as if they were venture capital firms. We valued them more so as if they were businesses.
And we kind of knew to a point what the limits of the businesses were when they came out. Right. This one's about space. We have no idea what could stem from that at all, or if anything.
No, I think that's a great point. It can be one of those things, we knew with, and I referenced Facebook a lot just because that was the last real big one that the public got excited. We've had a lot of IPOs since, but you knew that was about social media connections and, there was some thought processes of where they could get revenue, but it was a very defined company.
Right.
This, who knows, maybe it is ships to Mars or to the moon, or maybe it's just Starlink and the satellite,
right?
Or it's very broad in what it could be.
Potential's about what you could imagine it being. Maybe.
What's one reason that investors are getting intrigued by it by knowing nothing about it whatsoever?
I think SpaceX is representing something that people have been hungry for. It's tapping into this belief that maybe humanity's not just supposed to go about our daily lives and argue with one another so much. Maybe it's tapping into that human nature to explore, that manifest destiny. What does space have to offer? I think that it represents the possibility that our species may be taking a leap forward and maybe not just staying on this planet forever. It's very exciting, and it's not just about that. It's about what resources are going to come from that. Like we were saying before, maybe we don't even know what could stem from this. It could be going to space and living there. It could be mining asteroids as they go. Who knows?
One of the biggest things that came out of the space race and the first inclinations to get to the moon was the technology that it developed that then became, ubiquitous to our life. And so, you look at these phones that we have in our pocket, and the first missions to the moon did not have the computing power that an iPhone does today. And so even if SpaceX itself doesn't become a successful company, they're working on the absolute edge of technology. And it's been a while since we've had a new place to explore. I mean, you figure since we got to the West Coast,
we just stopped at California.
We stopped, the world was discovered, so you pretty much have the ocean and you have space. And so,
but throughout history, exploration has, like Peter was saying, that's where progress has come from.
Right. Exploration
and competition. And this is both of those.
I think one of the big takeaways that I've kind of jotted down as a note from this, it's kind of the perfect storm because SpaceX combines innovation, technology, government contracts, and Elon Musk into one kind of story.
Right.
And that's pretty powerful.
It's a very powerful story.
All of those things combined. So do you guys really think SpaceX is worth this valuation? Just like gut
feeling is that you're buying a vision.
Yes.
And so it's not necessarily like if you just take what its revenue is right now, it's losing money and it's not worth this valuation. But the stock market has always been a forward-looking indicator, a forward-looking process. And I think it's one of those things that you're paying today for what it might be worth in 10 years, but you just don't know how fast you're going to get there.
What do you think? Gut
feeling. It's very much priced for perfection right now. I think that people look at it and they, like we said, they have this vision that it's going to reach this. And if it does anything short of that vision, I don't think it's going to be the best investment right now. But like we were saying, we don't know what the possibilities even are. It could exceed that significantly. Based off of the numbers right now, I don't see it as something that maybe is worth it.
Peter, what's an argument for owning SpaceX?
The argument for owning SpaceX is it really is, there's not a comparable company out there. So if you take Boeing and Verizon and Amazon and Lockheed Martin and all these companies in different industries, this is a company that does all of those things in space. And so there's not a direct competitor really to it. You've got, some launches out of Bezos and Amazon, but they're so far ahead of the game. They do have Starlink, which is a viable business. So they do have revenue. It's not like we're just sinking in, complete debt.
I feel like Starlink's what's keeping them afloat.
That's their revenue right now.
That's their revenue. It does have Twitter/X. I can't call it X. I just
well, it'd be ambiguous in this what we're talking about anyway.
So, and it does have government contracts. We are getting to the point where the next rational place for the economy to go is sub-Earth orbit. I think I've talked about that on the podcast a number of times. If we can put data centers in space, just that on itself makes SpaceX all of a sudden extremely viable to get those up there. So you're buying hope, you're buying potential, you're buying the idea that if this is the next place to go, they have such a leg up on the next, company that they have that first mover advantage.
And it's like they're so far ahead and will be
so far ahead.
Why as a competitor even try? Like,
and they
why
have
even
their
try?
AI component too.
Yeah.
They're launching their own AI, ChatGPT alternative, Claude alternative, Grok, I think is what it's called.
Well, they talked about 3 pillars, like the AI model,
The space and the
space
connectivity.
and the Starlink. Yeah, kind of being the 3 pillars of the SpaceX.
They're right there in all of the industries that you would want to be in. That would be the bull case on it, is that you're buying the infrastructure of space.
So,
I love that Josh picked me as the one to say talk against this.
well, it just,
So
I'm just trying to play to your strengths.
If I was going to argue against this, and I do love looking for red flags and stuff, I think it's a fantastic company, but everybody else already knows that also. And I think history is full of fantastic companies that maybe weren't great investments at that time. I think that it's already priced for perfection, which means that it has to deliver on that or exceed that in order for the stock price to really grow at a rate quicker than what we would see in the overall stock market. So my argument against it's not its vision, because I agree with its vision very much so. I think it would be on the current valuation. And whenever you see this many people get excited over something, I think that's when it makes a lot of sense to step back and analyze for a little bit prior to getting in.
Well, great companies aren't always great investment.
That's right.
That's so true. We've seen that, and it doesn't even have to be companies on the edge. I would argue that Nike is a great company. It has been awful stock for the last 10 years. So you see that all the time. Great companies are not great investments.
One of my favorite companies that I think would have been an amazing thing was Redbox.
Yeah.
But Redbox came out just right before streaming.
For those of you who don't remember, Redbox was where you could actually go and get DVD rental, like outside Walgreens or outside CVS.
Pretty sure they're still there. Walgreens.
Yeah, 24/7. You can go in the middle of the night, pay them $5 plus $1 a day, get your movie.
What should every investor learn from this? So we've talked a lot about FOMO. We talk a lot about emotional investing, things like that. And I feel like something from the marketing side that's been pushed so heavily about this, because you can't look anywhere and not see it. It's kind of everywhere. So what should investors take from this? And is it something that they should jump on immediately, or should they just stay calm?
Always stay calm.
Always stay calm.
Don't jump on something just to jump on it. With that being said, I think that it sparked something in people that it's going to become easier to explain to people what the stock market is now. It's a vision of what the future is and what it could be, and that's how you invest in it. It's easier to identify that through a company like SpaceX than most of the other ones on the market.
Do you think it'd still be this much hype if it wasn't called SpaceX?
No. If it was called like
some
global communications company, I don't think that it would have gotten the same hype.
Well, if it didn't have Elon behind it, if it wasn't set up in such a way that it captured the imagination, but how much, this is your world, Josh. Marketing, it can make people believe things that are.
That's why I kind of asked the space. I mean, that's cool. It's a cool name, SpaceX. It sounds cool. It's very futuristic. And you pair that with Elon. It's just like if it was called something dumb or generic, like you were talking about, I don't think there'd be nearly as much hype going on.
But that's marketing is part of a company too,
right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Elon is good at naming companies, though.
And if you have a vision,
except for Twitter,
if you have a vision and you're unable to get other people to identify with that vision via marketing, then your company is not going to be as successful anyway.
What's the biggest mistake investors make with a company like this when it goes public?
Personally, I think it's misidentifying where it goes in your portfolio.
Yes.
I've always been a big proponent of the fact that having some speculation in your portfolio is a good thing. It's where we can hit some home runs. So if you identified Apple early on before it was, really deemed to be a core position, you've benefited very well. But I think just knowing what role it plays, so if you've got a $200,000 portfolio and you're like, I want to put 50 of it in SpaceX, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Right.
But if you want to put 1 to 5% of your portfolio in speculation in general, and then this plays a component of your speculation, the price becomes a little less urgent because you know you're playing the long game. So the people who got the IPO price, which was 135, the very first trade on the market was 150. So they made money right out the gate, but they can't sell. There's a lockup period, for some of these people. We saw it go up to what, 215, 220, and now we're back down at 155, 156. So it's going to be volatile. It's going to be all over the board, and you have to be willing to have that part of your portfolio go all over the board. And I think there's people who are like, I missed Apple, the FOMO that you were talking about. I missed Facebook, or I missed, Cerberus, or I missed any of these other big IPOs. I'm not going to miss this one because they look at the valuation now, but they forget like Meta got cut in half from in it during its first year. And you have to be willing to ride that ride.
I think also feeling like you have to do something immediately. The company, if it's worth what it is, it's going to be around for a good while anyway. There's going to be other buying opportunities along the road. You don't have to jump in on day one when everybody's going crazy.
And you might own it already, believe it or not.
Yeah. So Google is a great example. I think when we were looking through it, Google owns 7% of SpaceX roughly.
It's going to
be in the NASDAQ.
Google. Fidelity Contrafund, one of the biggest funds in the world, owns SpaceX. It's going to be in the NASDAQ. Bank of America owns SpaceX.
So if you own Bank of America or even a fund that owns financials, you probably have exposure to SpaceX already. Any of the indices are going to have it.
Yeah. It's not going to be in the S&P 500.
No, it's going to be in the NASDAQ.
Right out the gate. The NASDAQ changed some of their rules to allow it to be in there, which there's a lot of controversy that goes along with that. But you're going to own it. So if you own the triple Qs, you're going to own SpaceX without having to buy it directly. And so I think people just need to be aware of how it functions in their portfolio.
You could easily become over concentrated to it or any other stock if you don't understand what's going on inside of your stocks and your other ETFs and mutual funds too.
And that's not just a SpaceX phenomena. So if you own Berkshire Hathaway, you own Apple.
When we look at individual companies and we're trying to figure out how much one company should make in a portfolio, if all you own is the Spider S&P 500, you own 7 or so percent NVIDIA. If you wanted to buy NVIDIA on top of that, you might be looking at 10 to 15% of your account being in one company, which is fine, but you need to be aware of it going in. And SpaceX is going to fall into that same category.
If someone calls you tomorrow and says, hey, I really want to invest in SpaceX,
I can almost guarantee you they will.
But do you want to save some phone calls and just answer that question right now?
I think what I have been telling people and what I'm doing personally is I'm giving it a little bit of time. December 8th is when the lockout period ends for most of the investors that got into it early. I'm curious to see what will happen when they are able to sell. Are they going to sell a lot of their shares and drive the stock market down or the stock price down? Why are they? Who's selling what and how much? And that's going to indicate what they believe the future of the company is. And like I said, it might be a good buying opportunity also and give us a little bit of time to analyze the numbers a little bit better. What I'm doing is that, with that being said, I'd rather buy it today than at the end of the IPO day when it was up at 200.
I think same thing. I think I'm counseling people to go in with eyes wide open.
Yeah.
To me, it's not that dissimilar than people who will call up and want to buy something that I'm not on board with sometimes, but I think I'm okay with it. So I'm not a big proponent of gold in a portfolio. I think there's places that you can own gold, especially physically and everything else. But if someone wants it as part of their portfolio,
make a spot.
Make a spot for it. We can find where it goes in the portfolio. And then just counseling on the fact that we could be anywhere, and anybody who says that they know what the price of the stock is going to be is just living more in the marketing world than in the investment world.
And also, you don't have to go all in at once. That you can dollar cost average into these things.
Right.
There's nothing saying you can't buy some of it now if you want to. some of it in December and hold off for another correction down the road if you want to. You don't have, doesn't have to be all in or all out.
I do want to do one more thing before we're done, though. It's been a while. We haven't done a lightning round.
The lightning round.
I think we need to revisit this because I think this would be a fun one. And I think that you guys are going to have a hard time with this. So, lightning round question. What are you more excited about? Artificial intelligence or space exploration?
Artificial intelligence. Space exploration, even if Elon does all the things that he says he's going to do, I don't think I make it to space in my lifetime, because the first goers to space are going to be
dead.
Well, they might be, but they're going to have so many. We've already seen it. The people who will go up and space tourism, where they'll go in low Earth orbit.
Will Shatner,
that type of thing. It's going to be those people who go first. My kids may make it to space, but I'm using AI every day. So to me, I'm more excited about AI and what each day brings with what AI can do.
What are you going to say, Mr. Brian
I'm
Brummett?
more excited about space. I am more interested and enjoying and it's more relevant right now, the AI side of it.
Brian would have been a good lawyer.
Everything
he always talks out of both sides of his mouth.
Everything Peter said is the exact same reason I would choose space. It's because it's further along. I'm more excited about it. It's tangible. I might not get to see it, but I think it's important. AI is exciting, but not as exciting to me. And it might be because I'm using it every day.
I'm way more excited about AI.
Yeah.
So I get it. I think a lot of it does have to do with the here and now and immediate impact on me.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you were talking about, like you're not going to make it to space, probably.
Probably not.
So
if you do, it's probably going to be because of AI. I think you should read the host notes that you wrote down.
Just on a funny note, I do have a little note here on my itinerary. It says Josh's host notes. It says, if Peter or Brian begin drifting into rocket engineering, Mars colonization, politics, or Elon's personal life, please redirect them with, and I have a whole list of different things.
I think
You
we
guys
did pretty
did
well.
well.
Good job today.
You did great.
Not once did we hear, all right, let's talk about what the investor cares about, or any of your other things listed.
I don't think that you all mentioned nary a one of these.
No, we did all right.
Because he gave us the host notes and we knew better.
Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you tuning in on this special edition of the Bullseye Podcast. Go check us out at afiadvisors.com. Check us out on all of our social media channels, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bullseye Podcast. Do you want to sponsor the show or maybe even be a guest? Contact us at connect@afiadvisors.com to get the conversation started. Thank you for all of the continued support.